Hey, I'm James from Smoking Dad BBQ, and today we're tackling the #1 most requested video, which is how does this guy compare to that guy? So I'm going to put together a quick video and cover 3 things, which is getting ready for a cook, executing your cook, and the performance between the two during your cook. You're not going to want to miss this, so stick around. Let's do it. All right, let's start with setting up and getting ready for a cook. I'll start on the big green egg and show you everything that is included when you buy a new green egg. Obviously you get the green egg unit itself, a regulator cap now, or if you have an older model, you may get a daisy wheel included. You get your firebox on the bottom, fire ring, which is this upper piece, and a grid. You would add your charcoal and you're ready to get going. So let's first highlight what I wanted to show you compared to the Kamado Joe, as it's relevant, is the firebox. So you get a sense there. Took me a minute to find the separation, but these parts do expand and contract with heat and have been known to fail over time. Now let's go take a look at the Kamado Joe in terms of what's included. So included with the Kamado Joe, you get a couple things. First, you get your heat deflectors and 2 half grids. You get the divide and conquer system, which I'll explain a little bit more about later, and a charcoal basket. When I'm not using one hand to hold the camera, I'll lift that out and show you. You get an ash tool to clean out your ash. You get a charcoal basket divider, which is great when you don't want to use a whole basket full of lump or set up for an indirect side and a direct side. You get a grill lifter, so you can remove any of those hot accessories and set them on the stand. So one of the things I love about this new Kamado Joe Classic III is it comes with this great cart storage underneath. So on this one I've got a slow roller underneath, and in this one I've got the included deflectors, as well as the spider rig accessory. And so this accessory is great for setting up your half stones, but it's also a perfect size for many cast iron Dutch ovens. And so my 5-quart Lodge cast iron fits right in there, and I can do soups or chilies or things like that. So that's a real quick overview of what's included in the Kamado Joe. I just want to show you, we're going to do a cook on both. So I've got the one here on the right set up to do an indirect cook using the diffuser plates, and the one here on the left I've got set up with the slow roller, so you can see some of the differences between the two. And last but not least, I'll show you the control tower top, which is a rain-proof control tower. And so this works by just sliding to the set position that you want, or opening it all the way for maximum airflow. So if you're not in a protected area and you're getting any rain coming down, that's a great control vent cap to have. Okay, now that we're hands-free, I can show you the removable ashtray in the Kamado Joe and how that makes getting ready for a cook a breeze. So first, you're just going to go ahead and remove the ashtray, which you can see has collected all the ash after I gave my charcoal basket a shake. Dump that out into a trash can, garbage bag, whatever you use. Slide it back in, and we're ready to go. All right, while we're still hands-free, I want to show you the divide and conquer system, which has hooks that will hook into your charcoal basket. So you're able to just slide that into position, try not to block the camera, and quickly you can remove everything in one solid unit. Give that a shake and clean out your charcoal. I don't think I mentioned it earlier too, but you can see by the magic of no hands is this hinge is holding itself up. So this is the airlift hinge system on the Kamado Joe. If I show you a big green egg example, something that would make me cringe is if you're having a pool party, people are over, and someone's like, oh, let me check out this grill, it's really cool, and I don't want to do it from what they would do, but they let go and you hear that thud, and you run over, just making sure to not see you've got Humpty Dumpty on your hands. And so The airlift hinge is great if you need some assistance removing the weight. I think it's something like 96% of the weight of the hinge of the dome is supported by the hinge, and just practically it just makes it easy to move around and not have to worry about it. While I'm here and it's open, it reminds me something else to point out, which is the gasket and the lock. And so Kamado Joe has an oven grade heat gasket, which helps retain all of that heat and smoke and flavor that you want without getting any air leaks. So let me just show you how that works. So just push down and it's quickly latched, and so to unlatch you're just pushing in and lifting up. Alright guys, we're back. We've got all 3 grills up to temperature. So let me just show you what we got going on. We've got the large big green egg sitting around just a tick over 350 degrees. We've got our Kamado Joe with the heat diffuser setup, just sitting again a tick over 350 degrees. And a little bit warmer on our slow roller. I just had some leftover fat from some pork back ribs that I did, so we're getting a little bit of extra smoke. There's no wood chunks in there. I'm just burning off some of the grease, but we're pretty much at the same temperature, if anything a few degrees warmer on the slow roller. But let me show you what we're going to do for today's test, just to compare the protection that each of the different solutions for indirect cooking provide. So we've got the plate setter on the big green egg. We've got the 2 half deflectors on the Kamado Joe Classic on the right, and we've got the slow roller, which is a few degrees warmer than the other 2, but really close. And so what I'm going to do, since you guys liked the last test I did comparing the big green egg Mini Max versus the Joe Jr. when I did the toast test, we're sticking with a bread theme, and today we're doing baguettes. And so I've cut and measured each of these out to 18 inches, so they're exactly the same, or as close as I can get the same from the bakery. And I'm going to lay them in the exact same direction, front to back, and we're going to give these just a couple minutes. And the reason I'm doing this is to simulate longer meats that you might be cooking, whether it's baby back ribs or pork ribs or brisket, a turkey. If you're doing more than one spatchcock chicken, you've got your legs or wings sticking out towards the outer part of each of the grills. And so I know it's a funny non-scientific test, but I think it'll show us really quickly how each of the different convection methods perform. So let's get started with the big green egg. We'll give it a baguette, front to back. Let's go give Kamado Joe's a baguette themselves. And slow roller. There's some of that leftover rib fat that I was talking about. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to give that 4 or 5 minutes of heat, and so what this will show us, or I'm hoping that it'll simulate, is what I've experienced when I've been cooking on either the large big green egg or on the Kamado Joe with either the plate, the half moon plates, or the slow roller. I found that I've been getting far more consistent temperatures and far less overdone, underdone ends than I have using the plate setter method, and I think this bread example will illustrate that. So let me put the camera back on, set a timer for 4 or 5 minutes, and we'll see how each of these have performed. All right, hang in there. Be right back. All right, our 5 minutes is up. Let's go see how we've made out. I'm going to start with the big green egg. That's where we started first. So let me take out the baguette and check how we've done. Okay, so the plate setter is oriented this way. You can do side to side with ribs. So either way, I found when I'm doing ribs or briskets, you do have an exposed area either
you know, on the left or the right or the front or the back. So there's not really a way to protect everything, particularly when you're doing multiple racks. So that's why I've chosen to do every single one fairly front to back. If you're doing multiple ribs, you would have the same issue that I'm illustrating here, which is an exposed surface in one part of the cook. So if we were doing ribs this way, you would have exposed on both ends. This way you're protected on the front, exposed on the back. So let's see how we did. Okay, so as similar to my experience with ribs, you see that the rear portion of the baguette is getting some exposure to the heat, and so I've got some blackening going on that end, and obviously on the front end where it's protected, there's no blackening whatsoever. And so that's just in 5 minutes. When you're doing ribs, albeit at a lower temperature, this has been something that I've seen that has happened during my cook. So let's take off the big green egg, put it in the first spot there, and let's go get the Kamado Joe. So this one on the right again is the heat deflector plates. So still running 350 degrees. See how we're doing. Okay. So this end looks good. Looks good. So I don't see really any blackening on that end. Definitely getting some crispiness of toast, but that's just bread in a 350 degree oven. And let's check on the slow roller. So again, we're getting a little bit of smoke. There's not wood chips in here, but this is again, I mentioned in hindsight I should have cleaned it up after doing some ribs, because there's some of that residual rib grease causing some smoke. It looks pretty, but we don't need it for today's experiment. So let's check. So I don't see anything. So no burnt ends on the slow roller either. So let me go put that down. Number 3. I'll reset the camera and be back in just a minute to talk about what we found. Alright guys, welcome back to the results overview of our experiment. So again, what we did today is simulating cooking ribs or brisket, but in a very short period of time, using these 3 baguettes at a higher temperature to illustrate the protection differences of the indirect cooking approaches to each of the 3 configurations. So the big green egg using the plate setter, Kamado Joe using both setups that are included on the Kamado Joe Classic III, the heat deflectors or the slow roller. But I just wanted to share with you a couple of the reasons that I'm all in and team red on Kamado Joe. If you're out looking for a charcoal grill, hands down, I recommend you look at the Kamado Joe series. Whether it's the charcoal basket, the cart, the hinge, the control tower, the divide and conquer system, the heat deflectors, the slow roller, just so many things that add additional value and enjoyment out of the grid. Or it's you're actually wanting to turn out the absolute best product and make sure you get even doneness. I hope today's example just gives you a quick illustration of how you get significantly better performance or different performance between the 3 setups. And in 5 minutes, you can see the results still in front of us here. There was visible difference in terms of the overdoneness, coming off of the big green egg. So I hope you found today's test informative, useful, helps you make a decision, or you maybe learned something about setting up and operating your Kamado cooker. But look forward to seeing you in the next video. Let me know if you have any questions or comments down below.